Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time before we get into this video. Yes, the title is true. We are going to be tearing down my goldfish aquarium. And here's that aquarium. So you guys have definitely seen this tank before. This is my 36-gallon goldfish tank, and really, right now, there's one goldfish in it. Like, I used to have a few a while back, but we're down to only one. There's also a few small snails in here, like there's some nerite snails, and then the rest of it is just fake plants and some stones. It's a very simple aquascape. It's a very simple tank. However, it's not really doing much for me with just one fish. So I think I'm gonna take this tank down and just move on to bigger and better things. Now, of course, I'm not gonna get rid of my one little goldfish, so we need to find a new home for him. Now, the home I'm putting him in could be controversial. We'll get into that, but I'm not going to take his tank down until I know he's happy and safe in his new home. So we're going to move him over today, and then we'll take the tank down in a few days once everything goes good with him in his new home. Obviously, that will all be in the same video for you, so don't even worry about it. But I'm going to show you where he's going to live from hopefully now on. And that is this tropical planted aquarium. Yes, I said controversial. We're going to get into that. Do not worry. But right now, we just have some gouramis in here, a couple small angelfish. We have some tetras. We have some guppies. There's a little bristlenose pleco in there. Nice, calm, very peaceful tank. 36 gallons, so it is the same size as the tank he's in now, with just a few more tank inhabitants, as you can see. Now, I've already fed these guys today. They are acting hungry, but yes, I had already fed these guys. And the reason I did that is just because I wanted to make sure they were going into the tank, or the new fish, I should say, is going into the tank, or these fish aren't going to be starving and harassing him for food. But without further ado, let's go ahead and grab the goldfish, start acclimating him in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit about why he's in this tank and why it's going to be okay. So I gotta find this guy, I guess. Ever since I lost my very last goldfish, I'm not gonna lie, he's been acting kind of depressed. He animates a little bit when people come in the room, but he's just genuinely been acting depressed ever since we lost the last goldfish. So I feel bad he's in here by himself. Luckily that'll end today, and he's gonna be with some nice new friends. So I got him out right here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the snails, just because we don't wanna leave them behind. So there's one right here, there's one right here, and I think I only put two in here. The rest are assassin snail shells, because I'd already moved all the alive assassin snails. I moved them earlier. And we'll plop everything right here. Now, while this guy is acclimating, we're gonna have to talk a little bit about the setup, because some people are gonna try to start beef with me in the comments, but I gotta explain myself a little bit. Okay, so we have our goldfish right here acclimating into this new 36-gallon tank, or new to him. But now I gotta explain, what is he doing with all these tropical fish? A lot of people don't really think goldfish and tropical fish can live together. They totally can, and that's what we're explaining today. First thing is, goldfish and tropical fish are claimed to have different diets. In reality, tropical fish food and goldfish food are very, very similar. However, speaking from generic fish food brands, the main difference is that goldfish food tends to have more fillers because they don't quite require as many vitamins and stuff as tropical fish. I'm not a scientist, don't cite me, this is literally just something I've researched. And from what I have researched, the balanced diet that I feed this tank, which consists of mysis shrimp, algae wafers, I give cucumber to the plecos every once in a while, and then the standard tropical fish food right here. This fish food is actually from Reef Nutrition, which is a very, very, very well-known brand. This food right here is great for saltwater fish, freshwater fish. It's a very good all-purpose food. I feed some of it to my reef tank. My corals eat it. I fed this to my goldfish in the past, and I will continue to feed my goldfish and these tropical fish these pellets. Now, the mysis shrimp and the brine shrimp I feed this tank, that's frozen food. I feed my tropical fish that, and I feed my goldfish that back when he was in the other tank, so food will be totally fine. And then he can also pick on algae wafers. Algae wafers are great food for tropical fish and goldfish. Once again, when I feed those to this tank, I always toss one in his tank, so he's totally used to those foods. And then the other food he's gonna eat is on the aquarium surface. I have this duckweed. It's this little plant right here. It's hard for you to see, but it's this plant that grows in this tank because these tropical fish don't eat it, but goldfish and turtles love it. So it's basically like an endless buffet for him, well, until he eats it all. So now that we know he will be happy and very well fed in this aquarium, let's talk about other tank mates. The only tank mates I believe could have a slight issue with him is the angelfish. Now, luckily my angelfish are not aggressive. They don't go after the guppies, and guppies and angelfish generally don't work well together because they have long flowy fins. The guppies do, and the angelfish tend to nip at them. However, I have not seen that be a problem. My angelfish have not gone after any of my other fish, and if they do start to go after the fancy goldfish, I will totally remove the fancy goldfish and we'll make something work. That's kind of where the trial and error comes in. So With tank mates and aggression, that's something that is literally fish by fish. So that's not really something you can prepare for. Obviously, if I notice there's an issue, I'll take him right back out, put him in the other tank. That's why we're not taking down the old tank quite yet. Last but not least is water temperature. A lot of people tend to say goldfish are cold water fish and tropical fish are warm water fish, and that is very, very, very true. However, there is an overlap. So right here on Google, it says fancy goldfish, their optimum temperature is 68 to 75 degrees. And if we go over here to tropical fish like an environment of 75 to 80 degrees. As you can see, 75 is that overlap, and that is already what this tank runs at. I believe the heater is set to 76, but it just kind of runs cold. So we sit at about 75.8, which is just perfect for both fish. Believe it or not, my koi pond has been up to 90 degrees before, and I have not had a single issue. I don't even think the last time I lost a koi was like a year ago. Like, my koi, they do great, and they've been in freezing water, they've been in super hot water. Like, fish are a lot more hardy than people think. So that 1 degree temperature difference from 75 to maybe 76 is perfectly fine for the goldfish. So I know without a doubt this fancy goldfish will be perfectly fine in the tropical 75 degree temperature, which really isn't that tropical if I'm going to be honest with you. That's very just like room temperature average. So now that we know we're good on food, we're good on water temperature, and we're hopefully going to be good on tank mates. Once again, I have totally things in plan if things don't work out. I would ideally like to put this guy in my 55-gallon tank, but I know those fish are way more aggressive than these fish. So the worst thing that happens is I'll have to move my angelfish when they get bigger into my 55-gallon tank. Trust me, the angelfish can hold their own in there. I just don't want the other fish pecking at the tiny little goldfish because he is pretty small. Now we're going to let this guy finish acclimating. And then we'll dump him in, and I'll give you guys some updates along the way, and then hopefully we'll be back here to dismantle the other 36-gallon tank, and then hopefully this goldfish will have a new home all ready to go. So I'm going to give this guy about 15 more minutes to acclimate, and then we'll be back. Just like that, 15 minutes later, our fish and our snails are ready to go into their new tank. Now I'm going to literally just take our goldfish right here and put him right in the water. So as you can see, there he is. None of the fish are bothering him. Honestly, he's gonna do fine in here. I'm not worried about it at all. And then I'm gonna grab these two little nerite snails, and there's two. Just gonna drop those guys right in. So here's the goldfish in his tank. Obviously, it's totally new surroundings for him, so it's gonna take him a little bit to get used to it, but I totally think he's gonna enjoy all these plants, and of course, actually having some fish friends. Like I said, I think he was sad in the tank all by himself, but he is going to be good now. I'm gonna obviously totally monitor him for the next like 20-ish minutes, make sure everything's good, and then we'll check back in about an hour, assuming nothing crazy happens. So it's actually been like 2-3 hours later, and that's why the lights are off. But as you can see, the goldfish, well, you can kind of see him. He's right there. He's doing great in his new tank. I'm gonna obviously give him overnight, but as you can see, he's going in the tank perfectly. None of the other fish have gone near him. None of the other fish have picked on him. He's literally been doing great for the past couple hours, which is good to see. 24 hours later, here we are. I'm literally not even gonna waste your time. The goldfish is doing just fine, as I thought he would be doing. He is just chilling right there in the front. He ate today with the rest of the fish. But now that we know he is doing good in his new tank, let's go take down the old tank. And I'm gonna kind of walk you through the process of how I dismantle an aquarium. And here is the aquarium. So this is that 36-gallon aquarium. It's now empty. All we have is just the filter, and I mean the rest of the stuff just kind of running in the tank. Now dismantling a tank is literally easier than some people think. I'm just gonna start by removing some of the stuff on the hood, and then we're just gonna remove the hood completely. Now, once you get all the live stuff out of the tank, it's super simple. I'm just gonna walk you through what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take all the decor out, plants, rocks, get all that stuff out of here, turn off the filter, drain the tank, remove the filter, remove the tank. It's a very simple process. So literally step one, take this lid off. Also, if you do plan to reset the tank up again, this is a perfect time to clean all this nasty stuff off that you otherwise wouldn't really think about to clean. So also, we lift this up. You can see these hoods just get super nasty. This is the perfect time to clean them. Okay, next up, we're gonna take a bucket. We're gonna reach in here, grab our fake plants. If you have live plants, obviously you'll wanna take care of those a little bit differently. I'm just gonna grab all these fake plants right here, put these straight into the bucket. I'm gonna grab the rocks too. And once I get these removed, I can go ahead and deal with them at a different time. I'm not too worried about them, to be honest, right now. The plastic rim on this tank was super dirty, so I went ahead and cleaned it up, Now we're literally just gonna drain the water. I'll throw that on a time lapse, and then the tank's pretty much broken down. Just like that, the tank is drained and we have the filter right down here. Now, first thing I'm gonna do is come up here, pop off our intake and outtake, and send those down the back. And here we go. So we have our plumbing out of the tank now, and all we have left to do is literally clean the canister filter and pop the substrate out of here. I really hate this camera angle, but oh well. It's time to clean the canister filter. I already dumped most of the water out, which is why this is already disgusting. I'm just gonna pop this lid off and honestly put this to the side. We're not really gonna do anything with this. And now we can just start by taking all of the trays out. Okay, so now the body of the canister itself is clean. That's a good step. I guess we're just gonna start dealing with these baskets. So this is gonna go in the trash because that's disgusting. So we'll throw that away later. I'm gonna rinse out the sponge that's right here. And because this sponge is one of the coarse ones, it is, you know, pretty clean already. So we don't have to worry about that. We'll just let that one dry. The rest of this stuff, I'll probably end up keeping except for these kind of finer sponges. But it looks like the rest of it is just bio balls, which are just these tiny little plastic balls that basically were here to house beneficial bacteria, but we don't need them anymore, so I'm just gonna rinse these off. And this will get off any detritus or any nasty stuff that happened to get stuck in here. And I'm just gonna do that with all of the baskets. Surprisingly, that wasn't as bad as I thought. So I'm gonna let this stuff dry, put the filter back together, throw it in a box and call it a day, and then throw all this nasty stuff away. And now all I'm gonna do is literally get this last bit of water out of the tank and move the tank out of here. That's it. I'm gonna leave the substrate in here because I have no reason to take it out. But that is how you tear down an aquarium. I mean, this is about it. And that's a wrap. So the tank has been removed. It's all good to go, whether I sell it or keep it for another project. It is all stored and done with. Our goldfish is doing great in the 36-gallon planted tank, and that's exactly what I wanted. I'm happy everything worked out, and I think the fish will be a lot happier with some more friends rather than being depressed in a different tank. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me on this journey. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.